We started in 2023. We incorporated in March. We were negotiating to lease some land. We were in negotiations to buy this land. In early 2024, we had a board of 8 people, which we still have, and we thought instead of sitting around talking about growing food to alleviate hunger, let's do something. So we talked to the food bank. Dan Mayer, the head of the food bank, is on our board, and we asked him if we could use some of his land on Lee Hill Drive where one of the food bank locations is. He said yes. So in March of last year, we started about a 2,200 square foot garden at the food bank. We're still operating that. It's been very productive. We have great volunteers who work there. And then on June 28th of last year, we bought this land. We bought 9.8 acres of this land. June 28th, I remember because it's my mother's birthday. So we purchased this. We had to prepare the ground. So if you see the fields back here, it all kind of looked like that, scrub trees, that kind of thing. By the time we got it prepared, it was about August, September, and we only did this field here to begin with. It's less than 1/5 of an acre. So we planted zucchini and we planted cucumbers, and most of the field was collards and kale. We got a lot of zucchini. We got some cucumbers. The first frost really killed the zucchini and the cucumbers, which we knew. And but we've been harvesting kale and collards for the whole year. We just finished harvesting last week. We got over 2,000 pounds from this field of collards and kale. So that was really fun, and it was very productive. And we brought those either into the food bank or into food pantries like the Table, the Methodist Church Pantry, Brisbane, the Table that the Downtown Greens has, those kinds of things. So that's kind of what we did. Last year we grew and donated just under 4,000 pounds of fresh produce. This year our goal is 25,000 pounds. We think we can get to 100,000 pounds. So this area has a gap of fresh food access of about 200,000 pounds, according to the food bank. People who use the food bank services that want to get fresh produce and it's not available. So we think we can do about half of that. When we get to the 100,000, we'll keep going because that's the way we are. So we'll see how we do. Last year, we focused mostly on infrastructure. I mean, we had this 1/5 of an acre here, and then in October we planted 10,000 onions. We'll harvest those probably in June, July. They're in that field back there. But on infrastructure, we had electricity brought in from that pole down to the metering point. There was no electricity here. We had our volunteers put up a deer fence. Everything we do at the lowest possible cost. So we got estimates of what it would cost to put up a deer fence. It was about $25,000, and that was without the gates. So we were able to buy all the material, and our volunteers did it for less than $5,000.
Wow. So
there's an 8-foot deer fence. If we didn't have a deer fence, the deer will eat everything, and we're not growing it for them. So that's basically kind of the infrastructure that we've been doing. Last year we had to carry in water from home, and then our neighbor over here saw that and he let us use his well. But we couldn't scale up if we did that. So that's why we did that. So all of this from here down is potatoes. So we grow the food that the food bank says they want. So it's like more of the common things: potatoes, tomatoes, cucumbers, squash, melons, carrots, those kinds of things, cabbage, onions, peppers, all those kinds of things. Things that are more exotic, they would, they sort of rather would not have. So we need a building to do 3 things. Basically, to store, tools and equipment, to keep produce between the time we harvest it and we donate it, to keep it cool, especially in the hot summer months, and a place to hold educational classes. But the problem is, you schedule the class, what do you do if it rains? If we don't have, any shelter. So we're thinking about putting a barn or a building like that will serve as a barn, either up here or maybe down in that area toward the parking lot. We're trying to figure that out. And the Lions groups in the area, the Lions clubs, have stepped up and indicated a desire to help us with the funding of that. So I appreciate that. So some of our more fertile land, we've done soil samples that you send into Virginia Tech, and there are soil maps. So after we get this completed, before the year is over, we hope to begin planting on these, particularly on the 2 acres right up here.